It is Friday, the 30th of August, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. While the debate over the impending replacement of the three ships of Christopher Columbus from TNT's coat of arms continues, designer draftswoman Gillian Bishop says she was surprised at being chosen by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to design Trinidad Tobago's new coat of arms. Bishop said she was also humbled to be given the opportunity. Bishop was also prepared for the potential backlash that could come her way, as the issue of the coat of arms continues to be a polarizing topic. Earlier this week, she received a letter from the Office of the Prime Minister requesting she submit drawings. She said at the time she thought letters were sent to several local designers, but was surprised when the Prime Minister announced her name during Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing. During the briefing on Wednesday, Dr. Rowley said Bishop was tasked with coming up with designs that could potentially be used with the new emblem, which would see the steel pan replacing Christopher Columbus's three ships on the coat of arms. Yet another terrifying home invasion, as the owners of Me Asia Chinese restaurant along Ariapita Avenue in Woodbrook were robbed, beaten, and stabbed at their home on Tuesday by 5 armed men who stormed their home and demanded cash and valuables. The 59-year-old businesswoman, along with a 37-year-old male relative, were both asleep at their home in Petite Valley when they were awakened around 3 a.m. The two victims found 5 masked men who were armed with knives and a gun inside the home. They gained entry via a sliding door on the second floor. During the struggle with the bandits, the man was reportedly stabbed once in the right thigh, while the woman was beaten and thrown against a safe, causing injury to the left side of her face. The two were tied up by the bandits, who then ransacked the house and took $55,000 in cash, an iPhone, and a DVR, and other items. The men escaped in an unknown direction. The injured man, the police are investigating the incident. More gang violence in Port of Spain, as 3 men were shot while repairing a car in Belmont yesterday afternoon, during what police believe was the ongoing gang violence between warring factions in the area. 1 man was pronounced dead upon arrival at hospital shortly after the shooting around 3:40 p.m., while 2 others were reportedly injured. One of the men were reported to be in critical condition. None of the trio had been officially identified up to late last night, residents saying 2 were known only by the aliases OJ and Vanny. Residents reported hearing a volley of gunshots after an unknown car drove down De Castro Lane and blocked the turn heading into Rudin Lane, following which the occupants opened fire on men as they stood on the roadside. The gunmen reportedly escaped driving off on Dark Eye Lane. Residents close said they were surprised by the sudden burst of gunfire as children were playing outside and persons returning from work. One resident pointed to a trail of blood leading down the nearby East Dry River. She said one of the victims had attempted to escape the gunmen, but was shot in the leg and hand. He was taken to hospital by residents. Another resident driving a truck conveyed the 2 other victims to the Port of Spain General Hospital, where 1 was pronounced dead on arrival. 3 suspects wanted in connection with several reports of demanding money by menace were arrested by officers of the North Central Division during an operation on Wednesday. The intelligence-led operation also included officers of the Cybercrime Unit and the Central Division Gang Unit. Following weeks of investigation and surveillance, 3 suspects, a 36-year-old Santa Cruz man, a 33-year-old St. Joseph man, and a 26-year-old of Valsen were held. Following investigations into several reports of demanding money by menace spanning several months over dozens of victims, it is alleged over $200,000 in cash had already been paid to the offenders by the victims. Victims of this type of crime are urged to make reports to their direct police station for an investigation to be launched. Forex leakages in Trinidad and Tobago and its impact on trade development outcomes will be the topic of discussion during a virtual event held today, 7 to 8:30 p.m. The upcoming national conversation, hosted by Trade and Economic Development Unit of the Department of Economics under the Faculty of Social Sciences, UWI St. Augustine campus. The discussion will feature insights from economic experts, including Dr. Roger Hussein, Mala Dukaran, and Dr. Terence Farrell. The session will be chaired by Dr. Darren Conrad. In news of the region, 3 members of Haiti's Presidential Transitional Council suspected of an ongoing corruption probe turned themselves in for questioning on Tuesday. The move, made after CARICOM issued a critical statement about the Banque Nationale de Credit matter, came as a surprise since investigators had not issued a public summons for the trio to appear. And finally, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer confirms the government is looking at tougher rules on outdoor smoking to reduce the number of preventable deaths linked to tobacco use. Responding to reports smoking could be banned in some outdoor spaces in England, the Prime Minister said, we've got to take action to reduce the burden on the National Health Service. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning to you. It's Friday, the second to last day of August, the 30th day of August. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Power 102 Digital. It is the Power Breakfast Show, of course, full casting this morning. We just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen, Richard Raghubar Singh. We got Shane in the mix. And of course, my name is Steve Khan. Good morning to you, Pablo.
Morning, Steve. Morning, everyone. Happy Independence, TNT.
Yes, happy Independence, TNT. It is 24 degrees at Piarco International Airport, same at Crown Point in Tobago. And Met Office has not updated their thing as yet, so we don't know. I don't know what the weather is going to be like for today, but I'll know shortly. All right. Of course, good morning to all those watching us on METV and listening to us on various devices, watching us on various devices as well. Like Carol Guevara on YouTube, Marcia Rock also on YouTube. Happy Independence. Wendy and James, DJ Ray, Renu Halasi, that is in Delaware. Brenda Isaac, Oliver Man Warren, CJ in New York, Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Of course, it's a long weekend as well in the U.S., Labor Day being on Monday. Rena Booty Jennings, good morning. Gloria Gray, Michael Robinson, in Yokohama, Japan. Good morning. In Dago, we got David Wares, Mo Gaines, Ian Lee out in the West. Good morning to you all as well. And let's see, David Nelson. We got some other people on WhatsApp. Captain Ron, Val, Vincent out in Birmingham. Good morning to you all. GNC Auto Security, good morning. Yeah, Pablo, another home invasion. Another home invasion.
Yep.
And there was some gentlemen entered a business establishment. I think it was 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, you call them gentlemen? You sure you want to call them gentlemen?
I'm being kind this morning. Woo-sa. And they went into the establishment and police came and they ran in all different directions. Then they got some of them. They also
there are clearly a couple of gangs circulating in Trinidad and Tobago whose main focus is home invasions. Good morning, Wendell.
Hi. Good morning, Paul. Yeah. Good morning, Steve. Morning, Richard. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And listeners all over. Was that I hear about gangs there?
Well, the home invasions continue. The owners of the Asia restaurant robbed at their home in Petite Valley.
Yeah.
Petite Valley or Santa Cruz.
And it seems that they are targeting again Chinese business owners who are known for not using our banking industry, banking system.
Well, the Uncle Beddoes founder wasn't Chinese.
No, I know that, but I just said that I noticed that they've restarted the Chinese attacks on the Chinese business owners. I suspect that Uncle Beddoe thing was a little more than just a random robbery.
Petite Valley, yeah.
A lot of, as bad as the news is covering the crime that we're hearing about, a lot of the crime is not reported.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend who was attacked by 2 people, and he had a licensed FUL and shot one of them, and they died 2 weeks ago, and it was never reported in the news media. So a lot of stuff is happening that not even making the news.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. That is
there's a report as well.
Patients.
Yeah, there's a report as well as the TDPS made some. They said dents in extortion schemes. 3 suspects were taken into custody. Pages from 39, 33, and 26. So good for them. It's alleged that over $200,000 in cash had already been paid to the offenders by the victims.
Being someone in business is not an easy thing, eh? You know.
You always have to be on guard.
Yep. From several different angles too. You know.
Yeah.
It's never a dull day.
What does that mean, Wendell?
I mean from the different angles in terms of business. Business is not just about people who want to take from you, take your hard-earned dollars. You know, it's also people who want to outsmart you for some reason with some product, or people who they palming off almost expired goods on you. It's all manner of things business people has had to deal with, you know.
Yes, so have to check everything.
Yeah, and I'm speaking here from experience.
I hear you're not experienced, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be aware of people walking in, sales people.
And then again, you know, and especially when you're in when you're right there out in the public on a roadway, as opposed to in a mall where you're kind of insulated, you know. Once you're out there in a public roadway, is anything goes, you know.
And then the other part I think that you have to do when you do the entertainment and then you fall asleep and your wallet's still there.
you have that kind of thing.
You had a problem last night, Paul?
Yeah, you want to tell us something, Paul?
You want to tell us something, Paul?
You have to hide your wallet.
Yeah, I don't use wallet, so, you know. I'm sorry. But, you know, as I'm talking about wallet and so on, and I sent it for you guys. Massey had a nice flash sale yesterday. I think it continues today.
What? Okay, that's on sale?
Yeah, where you can take advantage of some of the products, you know. These things come in handy sometimes, you know. So
I saw an article, I think it's last week, one of the new executives, because Massey basically changed all the whole executive since that Obeah thing.
Obeah.
You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Jervis Warner went,
Obeah.
about 3 others went, Parson Potter herself went, you understand? So Massey basically has a whole new senior executive lineup now. And one of the executives was saying in the interview, I think it's in the Business Guardian, that situation really hurt their brand.
I would imagine. I would imagine.
So I find they're having more of these flash sales more and more where people go and they take advantage of. For 3 days, they have things on sale. You're getting readily available food stuff with deals and a lot of deals all over the supermarkets in particular. So I guess they're trying to lure people back into the supermarket and into spending. What they should try to do is and not only them, lower some of them prices.
Well,
Their prices, let me tell you, I went in and I was pricing something that we sell at the Pet Butler, and they were selling it for $60 more. And I said, what? I mean, I know the price, but
yeah, a lot of the big brands, a lot of the big names abroad have recently lowered prices. You know, Amazon, Walmart, some of the other big stores abroad lowered prices recently. You know.
Well, they have to because Amazon destroying them, brick and mortar.
Yeah, they tried so much. All these up to Costco and Sam's.
Because I mean, people just when you're in the US and it's just so easy to press the button and in 20 minutes sometimes the Amazon truck pulling up. Yeah, it's like, oh, they're here already. Like, I was waiting on the freeway out. You know, it is so easy and can you know, and when you press the button and you don't really feel it until the bill comes and you can't be gone.
Until you
Let me tell you something.
And all that money.
Credit card statement.
Let me tell you something. You can stay home in the US. Ray, SCJ, and don't have to leave. You don't get everything ordered to your house.
Food,
You just have to watch for Port Direct.
Everything. Everything delivered to your front door. Everything, Wendell. Everything.
Everything.
Live and all.
Live.
Putting up. I see the Prime Minister's coming in for quite a social media beating.
I saw
For
that.
that statement, well, don't blame me for crime.
Yeah, I saw that.
He is getting a lot of licks for that. And they're superimposing a picture and a quote from him when he was the opposition leader, saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, if the government can't handle crime, they are part of the problem.
Yes.
Okay, so they're putting both statements side by side and saying, what's changed?
I think the Prime Minister came across fed up yesterday.
Well, I'm sure he is.
Was it yesterday? No, Wednesday.
I'm sure it's very frustrating for him as the leader of the country. And there's no two ways about it. No leader of the country wants to sit down and see the country go down that road. And you're trying, and it's just installed a new Minister of National Security, but the horse is already bolted.
Yes.
And it's very difficult to get the horse back in train.
Yes.
And they say, and the police are trying. I give them some props these days. They're making some inroads, but the horse gone so far ahead that it's going to take a while. But I think that statement was ill-advised.
Yes, it came across like it threw your hands in the air. I think, but remember Basil Pandey, when he was Prime Minister, he acted as Minister of National Security, and there was a comment about along those lines too, like it threw your hands in the air.
But he seemed frustrated, Dr. Rowley. He said, don't blame me for crime. And as I said yesterday, I don't think people are blaming the Prime Minister. No one can blame him.
I'm not blaming him.
Right? The Prime Minister is not going out and encouraging people to do this evil things that are happening. But whoever is in power, whoever is the Prime Minister, whoever is the head of the National Security Council and guiding the cabinet, running the cabinet, is going to be held at some level accountable.
Well, you have to, at the end of the day, take responsibility.
At the end of the day, yeah.
So when you hear a statement like, don't blame me for crime, it's like, nobody is blaming you, but we are going to hold the government accountable.
Yeah.
The buck stops with you.
Because when you were leader of the opposition, you held the then Prime Minister accountable.
And as on cue, because I was listening to you all yesterday and I was reading the comments. I was actually watching you all on YouTube, right? And Lester Cragwell made a comment yesterday that I had to agree with. I couldn't comment on it because I don't know how to do it. But Lester Cragwell yesterday made a couple comments on that particular statement that I agreed with. And on cue, Lester Cragwell has posted. It was a very careless statement that he could have avoided. And I'm agreeing with Lester Cragwell again this morning. You understand? It wasn't a statement that you expect.
And he also said hold the criminals accountable. I think people are holding the criminals accountable, but they have no power to physically hold them accountable.
Yeah,
that's the remit of the police and the law enforcement agencies. But you can't, as in your own words, that people are quoting readily now. If the government can, and I'm paraphrasing there, of course, but that's the sentiment he expressed while opposition leader.
Yeah.
While opposition leader chastised the People's Partnership for changing, is it 5 ministers of national security?
Five main ministers and about 3
national
senior
security.
ministers.
Yeah, because there was a runaway crime situation very similar to now.
Yeah.
And he said, but when you say, I want to run the country, that's part of it.
That is part of it.
Who chooses the commissioner of police? The parliament, but the government has the majority, so they get what they want.
Yeah.
Not so? So, I mean, it was an ill-advised statement. And somebody with his experience and political astuteness should have known there would have been some pushback at that.
Yep.
You know, and there's a lot of pushback on it. It's like, okay, it's not us, the government, it's not me, the prime minister, it's the criminals. Well, criminals will be criminals.
Always.
In any jurisdiction, the state has to put policies and resources and systems in place and assess performance of key agencies to ensure that it's managed.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what leadership is.
Yes, yes. And everything is being politicized now. You could change move a big
not
stone.
Now.
But recently it's gotten worse. You could move a big stone from in front of the Red House and put it in front of City Hall and keep Rowley name calling, You understand?
You know what that is, Wendell? You know what that's a sign of? A frustrated society.
Fed upness.
Yeah. That is when society. That's a symptom of a society just on the edge of abject frustration with almost everything.
Yeah.
So if it flood, is Rowley. If it's crime,
you saw the comments about the flooding and Tom?
Yeah, and that's because in other words, all you're doing, they appoint this 15 or 14 member committee board food. Nobody have any faith in it at all. When they slam that, they put that all over the place.
Yes.
They treat it like Brian Lara batting because nobody has any faith that anything will come out to that 15 or 14 people to deal with food prices. No, why now? We're talking about this years now. But of course, somebody making money. Anything will come out of that food price thing. Nothing. Nothing.
But you know what's equally sad about it? You know what's equally interesting about it? And some people, even in the opposition side, who supported the opposition, have been saying it. And some political analysts and so on. That because the opposition is so weak and because they have so many skeletons in the closet that people still not seeing them as an option. But, the country needs to be careful. You understand? Because at the end of the day, when people go in that voting booth, they will say, you see this? I ain't taking no more of this. And they will just go here and hope for the best, And that is what the PNM needs to be very careful of. That the options may not be all that bright because we have had them before. But guess what? People will still take their chances.
Well,
so they need to be very careful.
If not all political scientists say we don't vote in, we vote out.
Yeah.
We
vote out of government. We don't vote in a party.
We don't vote in parties because there's a greater choice. We tend to vote out.
Yeah.
Because as we said earlier, out of frustration and fed up.
Yeah.
When you don't feel the country is moving in the direction you want, and you get abjectly frustrated, you look, wherever let me try.
Yeah.
You understand? And the quote unquote, anything can be better than what we're going through now.
Yes. That is a reality.
That happened to Patrick Manning.
Yes, it did.
And all it was his main issue at the time, and it also happened to the People's Partnership by and large, in my opinion, was the issue and the allegations of corruption were not adequately dealt with, acknowledged and addressed. That Calder thing is basically what got Patrick Manning, the late, voted out of power.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Between Calder and the church.
Well, it was all linked.
It was all linked, you're right.
It was all linked. And it's it's interesting now that the verbal exchange between Mrs. Basabi-Sessa and Mr. Griffith. It's interesting. It's intensifying now to me. It's very. I'm trying to figure out what changed in the last 2 weeks.
They're just trying to be on the front page.
You think so?
Yes, that's all us. Paul, if I'm wrong, fine. Then we lose nothing.
Basabi-Sessa had been high in praise of Guy Griffith being a commissioner who should have been extended. Am I wrong?
Right. Although she did not originally support him, remember, right?
Right.
The opposition gave him no support.
But subsequent to that, following his tenure, the inroads he made in some areas, she was highly supportive of him.
Right.
And highly critical of the government for not giving him another term. Not so?
Right. But remember the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Remember that saying, eh? So she saw an opportunity where Gary Griffith and Dr. Rowley had fallen out to embrace Gary Griffith again. She's not stupid either, Mrs. Basabi-Sessa, very politically astute too,
Absolutely.
You understand?
I've always said she was able to maneuver her way to the leadership of the UNC against a very powerful person, Basdio Pandey. And then to the seat of Prime Minister, all who underestimate her, I just watch them and smile.
And has remained as an opposition.
And has remained.
Yeah. She's not stupid.
You know?
So she recognized that, hey, let me embrace him again now. Let me see what happens. Make sure we get a little traction in the local elections and use that. You understand? And she's going to use him again.
Well, I much suspect, as I have said before, that a week, a month, 3 months in politics is a long time. And what is of mutual benefit to certain entities will bring them together. That's the way politics runs. Okay? Yeah. Waiting everybody.
That power, when you win an election, people don't understand. It doesn't end with the parliamentarians you put in office, you know. It's about board appointments. It's about diplomatic positions. It's about so many different things
that you is a very powerful position.
Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Most people don't even know the underbelly of the power Prime Minister has in his country.
And the UNC, I think the UNC knows it well, because
I think both the PNM and the UNC know it well.
They made whole-scale changes.
They both know it very well.
Yeah. But I mean, the PNM has been around long, so they understand it. But the PNM too doesn't necessarily make whole-scale changes. When Mr. Manning came back in 2001, right? He didn't make whole-scale changes. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people who
but when they were, why I agree with you at some level is that wasn't the People's Partnership 29 seats?
Yes.
And when you get 29 seats, you have even more power.
Yeah, and they made whole-scale changes immediately
because you have the power to adapt with that ratio.
Yes.
You know, you have when you have that kind of power balance in the parliament, you have even more power. You could change things that a 2-seat majority doesn't allow you to change easily. Yeah. You don't negotiate nothing.
Nope.
This is what I want, and this is what we'll do.
Yep.
You understand? But in a strange sense now, given what we've seen in the last couple of months, maybe the present government does have that kind of ratio. Unofficially.
Sorry?
Maybe the present government, given what we've seen in the last couple of weeks and months, does have that ratio now.
Well,
talking about the Ragberi effect.
Right.
You understand? Quite have 5 people in there. You don't know how they voted with anything now.
True.
You understand? You know, absolute voting thing now with them, you know, from what we've seen.
That's true.
Raghubar Singh.
Good morning, guys, and good morning to all listeners and viewers wherever you are.
I reach you. You're up early.
Huh?
I say you're up early, but no, no, you're not actually.
Huh?
Good morning, Richard.
I check it before while I'm talking. You have that little play thing this weekend again?
No, next weekend.
Okay.
That's a little play thing, wow. It's a big play thing, that's a little play thing.
Yeah, I do. Richard, you know, I was to tease you. I saw a brand new spanking, sparkling gold wedding ring on your finger. Was that only for the play?
Obviously.
It didn't look so.
It was only for the play. Obviously.
I never saw in past plays where you played a married man. I've never seen you wear a ring.
Why, obviously, but you can't get married, that's what you're saying.
No, it just, Paul, the ring looked like something that just happened, like brand new.
So what Richard and folks do?
No, but I'm asking him publicly.
You know, he's a private person, so he could have gotten married and just not tell anybody.
You did not notice the ring before, Wendell, but every time I play a married man on stage, I always have a wedding.
But this ring was shining in my eye.
Maybe I have different types of wedding rings on.
Richard, what I'm hearing is that Brenda probably was a little upset.
Me upset at all. I happy when people get married. Let them go through the head and let them enjoy themselves too.
You said it came out, eh? Go
Yeah,
through the
it came out and it
It actually came out of your mouth. You know that it didn't stay in your brain, right? It came out of your mouth. Another sad thing that happened last night is, of course, the Belmont gang violence continued.
Yeah, behind the hospital.
Three men being shot. One died. Another one was critical. We haven't had an update from the police since then. 2 were shot, 2 were injured, 1 critically so, and 1 died at the scene. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, I read that this morning, about 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago. I read that.
We should actually congratulate the police, you know, for breaking that one of the extortion rings, seemingly.
Yeah, 3 people with regard.
Yeah, we're 3, a 39, a 33, and a 26-year-old were held following an intelligence-led operation. Police alleged that many victims, gave a combined, succumbed to a combined $200,000 plus in cash to these extortionists.
What area? What area?
Well, they said they meant from different areas, Santa Cruz, St. Joseph, and Valsayn, but they said it was a North Central Division operation. So where's North Central Division? That is East-West Corridor?
Yeah, that's East-West Corridor.
Like what, move over to Tulapuna thereabouts, or that kind of thing?
Yeah, if you take the hospital as the region that carries that name, NCRHA.
Yeah, well, it's that area. So I mean, and extortion demands have been on the rise, as are home invasions, and not just one person coming in your house now. It's like gang of people coming in your house now.
Yeah,
so people have to be very, very, very careful.
I had read that not only the Valsayn one, which the woman was very outspoken about and spoke about the incident in some detail, the homeowner. And the horror of it, even though she was very steadfast that she was not going to be cowed, and you know, she changed locks, and you know, she of course was very adamant that they weren't going to make her afraid to live a life, basically. And she was but she went through the incident, and she gave words, because like the man was saying, one of the parts of that story, the man told her, show me where your jewelry is or where the safe is. And she said, well, you can go to the safe, buy and use the safe. And she told him where everything was, because, you know, at that point, you're more trying to...
You're fighting for your life.
She threatened to cut off all of her fingers. And she said, well, if you do, there is some point at which you may need me and I will not be able to help. And she said he recoiled at it, but then continued. I don't know if she's a surgeon or a doctor or something like that. I don't know. That's the impression you kind of got.
She was a dermatologist. Or she is a dermatologist.
Okay.
And her son is a dentist. You know?
Yeah. And she just went through the entire incident. She said the most horrifying part was when they dragged her son out and she couldn't see what was happening. And that's when she was most, you know, traumatized in terms of she didn't know what's happening to her son. It was a horrible incident, and it was like 7 guys. And there was another one.
But look at the one last night, yesterday morning in Pity Valley, the owners of Major, reportedly.
The owners of one?
There was a home invasion 3 o'clock yesterday morning.
Major restaurant, Richard.
Owners.
Oh, okay.
That's the latest one. So can we open the phone lines? Steve?
And there was one where 12 guys entered. I think that was...
You know how terrifying 5 people in your house is, or 7?
Yeah. And
weapons.
I mean, what is going through these young guys' head? You know, it's like...
Nothing.
They're criminals, Richard. Nothing is going through their head. It's no big deal.
But
even in the Valsayn home invasion, they told the lady that they already killed somebody. You know, a 14-year-old, 14, was held for larceny and burglary in Princestown.
The police have to get a handle on this. I mean, I don't know what kind of sting operations they have to do, like how they made some inroads with the extortion. And then ring up all of the extortionists.
I booby trapping and take my chances in court.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy
When the
independence.
local government reform is a hoax,
Oh, yes.
happy independence too.
Same to you, Lincoln.
I made a suggestion many years ago, and many moons ago on this program, that we need to revisit FUL for home protection. And until it fall in the garden of one of these ministers or something like that, people would start to understand and consider it. Right? I feel sad especially for these reoccurring Chinese victims that are reoccurring victims. Right? And we seem to be doing nothing to protect the people in them. And then when something finally happens, everybody is going to jump out. My condolences. I say something I hate to hear. My condolences doesn't do anything for anybody. My condolences, my foot. Right? When we could do something to help the people protect themselves. And it's not only the Chinese business people. I'm speaking for everybody. At least do something for home protection. Right? Give your FUL. This weapon is not to leave your home. If you carry it outside your home, you lose it, right? But we have to start somewhere by giving people something to protect themselves. Pepper spray ain't gonna do it against 7 men that running in your house, right?
But Lincoln, they only give out a few pepper spray anyway.
Yeah.
And they only give us and here is funny thing about the pepper spray. I tested the system and applied for pepper spray. I got my permit for pepper spray. I get you with it within maybe 2 months. I get you with it. Here's the funny thing though. I travel at least every 6 months I travel. I get pepper spray abroad for $10 a bottle of pepper spray. Sometimes you get it for $6. But I had to make a different application to be able to import my own peppers, to bring in more peppers.
Yes, that makes sense, Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I can get a pepper spray permit, go abroad, buy my peppers, and come back and use it
because you're bringing it into the country. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
But Lincoln, hear this one: a Chaguanas man arrested for possession of pepper spray in Arima.
I don't even understand what is the big control over pepper spray. Because I'm walking up to you and saying, give me a wallet or I'll pepper spray you. That is not what they're doing. Okay?
But here's the funny thing. You can walk about the place with a penknife. You can walk about the place with a penknife. A police cannot do anything for having a knife on you. But pepper spray is illegal.
You can buy on Amazon for $10, $12. In anywhere in the United States, so if you're in the UK or whatever, I don't know.
That's an expensive one. You can get it for $7.
You could buy it online, and in Trinidad, it's all of these controls because that was the explanation that parliamentarians gave. Parliamentarians gave you the explanation. Parliamentarians gave the explanation that the criminals might get it. That's why they have to.
Not parliamentarians. Not parliamentarians. The government side.
You too.
The government side. Remember Clarence Chamberat say pepper spray more dangerous than bullets?
Yes.
The criminals have guns. The criminals have guns.
All right, thanks, Lincoln.
Automatic weapons, not just guns, automatic weapons. One more thing I'd like to say, Steve. Coincidentally, the only place you can buy it here is from the Syrians and them, which superimpose the statement that the Prime Minister made. I believe in getting the rich richer so they can empower the poor. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Lincoln.
Yes?
I think you could have phrased that a little better. You see, seeing the Syrians and them, it's like seeing them black people and them Indian. That left me feeling very uncomfortable.
Okay. Well, let me rephrase it. Amalgamated on them.
You could say that.
Those are the only people who are selling pepper spray legally in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I am surprised with that.
One sector of people getting this business.
That seemed to be the other arm of the Ministry of National Security.
Oh,
correct. Correct.
All right. Thanks, Lincoln.
That's fine, boy.
Good morning, caller.
If you know, you know.
I know it. I know everybody.
If you know, you know. Right?
If you know, you know. You just tell them clearly.
That's how I say. Everybody knows.
You have a call, gentlemen.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Miss Sampson. What happened to the bats up by you? And the rats and the cats?
Everything is still there. Not getting any help. That's what I call you for. I went by the mayor's office lunchtime yesterday because the morning period not working. When I went, they moved every chair from in the sitting room. So I asked the lady, I said, so where am I to sit? We moved the chair because we don't want any loitering. So if you go to the mayor's office, you just have to ask a question and walk out. So apparently...
What do you mean? Wait. A mayor's office without a chair in the sitting room?
They remove, I'm telling you, when they're after lunch, they remove every chair. The man is not doing any mayoring, if that's a word. All he's doing is counseling, if that is what he's doing.
Where that South or Rima?
San Fernando Mayor, she went.
It's not only South then.
What you said?
Nothing.
I tell you, PNM are going to put some square pegs in wrong holes. Anyway.
I didn't have, I tell you, so I asked the lady, I said, what am I to do? I said, well, tell him that the elderly San Fernando citizen that he has called out since last year want to see him Shimaki down. I said, I know you're going to throw that in the bin. I said, so who doing the mayoring? She don't know. He's a councillor, so probably he in Pleasantville, so he didn't have no mayor. Why would you move all the chairs, which means that nobody, it didn't have no mayor in San Fernando? What is taking place? And one other thing, Wendell, you know it have a train, an antique train on the promenade in San Fernando?
Yes.
It used to have vagrants in the area. So I can't remember which mayor fenced it around nicely. You know, this one opened it and it have a piece of galvanized chair and a vendor. And next piece of galvanized chair and a vendor. Why will you close it, spend money to buy it around, and then open it for vendors? If the vendors want to vend, send them down Mokorapo Street. I don't know who doing what, who thinking. Better they call me to sit down in the chair there to give some advice. Why will you open that and put vendors in it? San Fernando.
About it, don't feel alone because I hear you are kind of lacking me into.
I mean, and it's like San Fernando, they just don't care. Nobody complaining about the place. Look how long
maybe the mayor of San Fernando needs to hold a gala also to raise some funds to deal with homelessness and vending. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, but why? They get rid of 99% of the vendors on High Street.
Well, that's all like a
pump story. But good grief, who attending to San Fernando? Get a female now. Get a female now. These men don't know the A from the A.
When local government reform comes, Ms. Sampson, all that will be fixed. Don't you worry.
But show your papers.
Yes, I do. Thanks,
Mr. Them, please.
I think the second of coming of Jesus Christ will happen first.
Oh, God.
And you know that always coming too.
Oh, yes.
Not so, Paul?
If for those who have eyes to see and hearts to believe.
Okay, sir.
It's called faith, Richard.
There's none who are so blind who will not see. You put on your glasses at the right time.
It's called faith, Richard. You don't have faith, Richard?
Of course, you always have to have faith, right, man? That's all.
Exactly.
So, Daily Express for this morning. Let me get straight into it. And of course, today is Friday, August 30th. Of course, I think daily paid workers have the day off today.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. They do.
Because tomorrow is a holiday. Because tomorrow is Independence Day. The main headline in the Daily Express this morning: Venezuelan policia. Priests suggest crime-fighting tool recruit migrants, especially women, to bridge cultural gap. Venezuelan policia. and that's the main headline. Woman crushed by truck near Montrose Junction. That's
I saw the video for that. Ugh.
Friendly greeting. Police Commissioner Earl Christopher greets Eric Thompson yesterday as she arrives for an interfaith service held by the TNT Police Service at St. Thomas Anglican Church in Chaguanas. The service marks the 69th anniversary of the celebration of women in the police service. So that's what's on the front page. And on the back page of the Daily Express is also stories about a woman crushed by truck. That's the story that is in the wraparound, so to speak.
You all saw that video for that? Oh, goodness.
No, I wouldn't. That wouldn't come to me. And
no, it was on, I saw it on Facebook, actually. She was she was knocked down. I mean, the truck could not have seen her. The truck driver would not have seen her. But it just begs that you need to be, you see, against these big vehicles, you need to be 10 times more careful than you are normally around a car, because he is way up above, right? And she crossed it was traffic, and just at the point in time she was crossing, the traffic moved off, and the truck took off. You understand?
Yeah.
It was horrible to look at.
Royal Celebration, TKR outplayed in WCPL final by Haley Matthews' team. So that's it. That's the main sports story in the Express. Newsday for today, front page. The main headline: Don't pay extortionists. Get help from police. Chambers and cops advise small businesses. Don't pay extortionists. Woman crushed to death in Chaguanas. And the main picture is back to school, of course, the frenzy of buying for back to school because school opens on Monday. USC, government's agenda won't help Trinidad and Tobago. And on the back page of the Newsday, Champions 2024, CPL 20, cricket played louder. TKR batters fall short in final as Royals defend the WCPL crown. And Dotted named in Wendy's T20 World Cup squad. That's it for the Newsday. On to the Guardian this morning. The Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. Front page: Bishop humbled, up to task of producing TNT's new coat of arms. Of course, that's designed.
I think I saw that lady at your play on Sunday, Richard.
Gillian Bishop?
Yeah.
It's possible.
If not her, somebody. Well, I saw a couple ladies. That one of them ladies look just like her.
Could be her. One killed, 2 injured in Belmont drive-by attack, and woman crushed to death by trailer truck. All of that is on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning. And of course, on the back page, Royals claim second WCPL title. And that's all you need to know in terms of the 3 daily newspapers this morning. Over to you, Paul, and the poll.
All right, let's get the results of our morning poll that we asked you yesterday. Should the government be held accountable for the spiraling crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago? That was our poll yesterday. 54%, 5-4, said no. All right, so let's get into this morning's poll. All right, Paul types it up.
I want to just advise people. There's nothing wrong with supporting a political party and critiquing that political party when they're in government. So though comments like that kind of irritate me, that because you shouldn't be complaining because you supported them in government. Come on, people. Stop with that foolishness.
Yeah. You can critique them any way you want to. You don't have to be wrong. You could critique them. So, of course, just reminding people, the theater is on next week, Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall. Lotto Madness comes to Queen's Hall on Saturday, the 7th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday 8th at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are available at all outlets. All outlets have tickets. So you can get your tickets now, including at Central Bank box office. And Central Bank box office opens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. So you can get your tickets at the Central Bank or Queen's Hall box office. Opens 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you can get your tickets at Queen's Hall box office. Even from today, they started selling tickets yesterday. And all outlets have tickets, so you can get tickets at your outlets now. Electronics Arima, Jabili Rawe, Tunapuda, K Squared Fashions at West Mall, East Gates and Brentwood Mall, and Champlain Auto Services and Antoni's Florals in Val Park Shopping Plaza. Everybody has their tickets, so you can get them for the play next week, Saturday and Sunday.
All right, so our morning poll.
Is enough focus being placed on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll this morning. What do you think, listeners and viewers across the planet? Is enough focus being placed on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago? What do you think? Yes or no? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and all streaming platforms, you can send your votes via the messaging portals there. And of course, if you're watching us on M&E TV, good morning to you, Peter Lewis. If you are watching us on M&E TV or listening to us on smart devices, you can also vote via WhatsApp at 318-1021. If you're outside of Trinidad and Tobago, add the 868 code before it. Nah, man. 868-318-1021.
All right, so let's go. Is enough focus being placed on the issue of home invasions? So we got some votes already. Let's get into it. John Cato, no to the poll. Hanif Daniel, no. CJ from New York, no. AR, Alan Reese says no. Miss Ingrid, no. Alistair Hart, no. Hector, no. Ron M, no. Let's go see if we have any on WhatsApp. Ooh, Val, no. Lorna, morning, Lorna. Indy, Carly, no. I have someone else saying no. Jaron Joseph, no. Captain Ron, no.
Wait, Paul, you didn't tell me that Bacchanal in the Hope party already, that the PRO resigned.
Cascade St. Anne's, no.
You didn't get the 5-page thing you write on them?
How you missed that? How I missed that?
Because it wasn't really news.
Is Hanamji?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
What he didn't say about them is what you forget to say.
Good morning.
Friends jumping. He talking.
Because the bandits also focusing too, you know. Anyway, my answer is no.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Kansas City, my answer is no.
Thank you. Junior, no. Anthony in Toronto, no. Let's see. Ooh, so Hector, Ron M. David Wares, and of course, Mrs. Wares, no. John S. Batiste, Julia S. Batiste, no. Richard P. Knights, no. Michael Mapp, no. Michael Robinson, no. Vaughn Drayton, no. Esther Adams, no. Gregory Bauer, no. Boyer. Pearl Cordis, no. Lester Craigwell, no. Carl M. Jack, no. Ray Garcia, no. HGB, no. All right. Let's see.
Okay. Wendell, the person in the video is not the person you thought it was.
That's ominous.
In the car.
How do you feel?
Just not the person you thought it was.
Hello, I was of that opinion first when I saw it.
What are you
want to share that conversation? You guys want to have a chat?
That was shared in the Power Breakfast group, the video we're talking about.
There's a video of a man and a woman seemingly caught by police in a car just after having some sort of intimate interaction. The man and the woman struggling to put on their undergarments.
Yeah.
And
boxers that they would sleep in or walk about the yard.
Wendell thought it was somebody who is quite well known, and I told you.
I telling you, I didn't think at first, and then I was told by very high up in this society that it is.
Okay. Lincoln says no. All right. Is enough focus being placed on the issue of home invasions?
Should we play the video and ask the audience?
I dare you.
Like you feeling from steel bracelets all of a sudden out.
We could blur out the genitalia, you know. You know
I didn't even see it. I didn't even recognize it that day.
I didn't even know what video I was talking about.
Yeah, you have to look closely.
I don't know what video you're talking about. That video is not.
I have no video like that in the group.
It was in our chat a while back. It was in our chat. Trust me.
I can't remember.
About 3 weeks to a month ago.
WhatsApp in the group it was supposed to be.
I was at the Queen's Park Oval. It was.
All right. We need to focus on the poll again, gentlemen. Ian Lee says no. Is enough being placed on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago? Tell us yes or no. WhatsApp 318-1021. Call us 222-8255. Like this caller. Good morning.
Good morning. I say no, but enough focus is being placed by whom? I want to know.
The authorities, obviously.
Yeah.
Like who? By the police or the government? Because the poll yesterday, they say the government is not responsible for crimes. So it can't be by the government. It has to be by probably the police alone.
Who deals with law enforcement?
By law enforcement. Okay, good.
Yeah, point taken, caller. We should have said by the TTPS. Point taken. Point taken. You see how people just examine and scrutinize us, you know. They don't know what the life I live in.
I was trying to make the poll short.
Richard played the other day to let's relax, and as I open
my mouth, I put in some long poll. I'm trying to make the poll shorter.
No, I go on to relax and Richard play on Sunday.
All right. Ish out in Malik says not.
And as I open my mouth, a fella say, "Hey, Wendell." Oh, watch him. I said, "Do I know?" He said,
Gloria Gray says no.
I don't go Richard playing on hush. I can't open my mouth. It's hell, you know. I walk on a plane the other day. I telling all you, a plane. A flight coming. Where they coming from? New York or Miami? And a tall guy, and he listens to us. Robert is his name, I think. I say something to somebody on the plane. Yeah, went there. From radio. The man sitting up 2 rows behind me. I end up sending a drink for him.
Which means you can't scream out in double palm at all.
At all. I had to use the air conditioning room. I can't use the room with the fan.
Yeah, but
I'm confused.
You can see somebody, bang, man. It's when the steam over there.
You know what time I bite myself?
I mean, you bite yourself.
Shh, I forget. Move on. Let's move. Richard, why is this man provoking me?
Why would you bite yourself?
Hey, Richard?
I have no clue. I am very clueless this morning.
Why do you bite yourself?
Oh, God.
Daniel Knight says laugh out loud. All right, let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. If he is there.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
More gang violence in Port of Spain as 3 men are shot behind the Port of Spain General Hospital. Another terrifying home invasion as the owners of Me Asia Chinese restaurant are robbed, beaten, and stabbed. A woman is crushed to death in Chaguanas. Opposition MP Anita Haynes-Allen plans to raise questions on schools' readiness for the new term when Parliament resumes, and the local designer is humbled by the coat of arms task. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintelba. Good morning. More gang violence in Port of Spain as 3 men are shot whilst repairing a car in Belmont yesterday afternoon during what police believe was the ongoing gang violence between warring factions in the area. The incident occurred behind the Port of Spain General Hospital, igniting fears among people near the hospital that there had been another gun attack on the compound. Immediately following the incident, security officers at the hospital shut the main gates at the Charlotte Street entrance to the facility and did not allow any cars in from around 4 p.m. One man was pronounced dead on arrival at the Port of Spain General Hospital shortly after the shooting around 3:40 p.m., while 2 others were reportedly injured. One of the men was reported to be in critical condition. None of the trio was identified up to last night, with residents saying that 2 of the men were known only by their aliases, OJ and Vanny. It is believed that Vanny lives along Bel Air Road in Belmont. Residents reported hearing a volley of gunshots after an unknown car drove down De Castro Lane and blocked the turn leading into Rudin Lane, following which the occupants opened fire on the men as they stood on the road. The gunmen reportedly escaped by driving along Darsville Lane. Residents close by said they were surprised by the sudden burst of gunfire as children played outside and persons returned home from work. One resident pointed to the trail of blood leading down to the nearby East Dry River, as she said one of the victims had attempted to escape the gunmen. He was shot in the leg and hand and was taken to hospital by a resident in his car. Another resident driving a truck conveyed the other 2 victims to the Port of Spain General Hospital, where one man was pronounced dead on arrival, while the second was treated and warded. Yet another terrifying home invasion as the owners of a Mi Asia Chinese restaurant along Arapita Avenue, Woodbrook, were robbed, beaten, and stabbed at their home on Tuesday by 5 armed men who stormed the home and demanded cash and valuables. The 59-year-old businesswoman, along with a 37-year-old male relative, were both asleep at their home in Pitty Valley when they were awakened around 3 a.m. The 2 victims found 5 masked men who were armed with a knife and a gun inside the house after they gained entry via a sliding door on the 2nd floor. During a struggle with the bandits, the man was reportedly stabbed once in the right thigh, while the woman was beaten and thrown against a safe, causing injury to the left side of her face. The 2 were tied up by the bandits, who then ransacked the house and took 55,000 TT dollars in cash, an iPhone valued at $6,000, a DVR valued at 3,000 TT dollars, and other items. The men escaped in an unknown direction. The injured man later sought medical attention at the Port of Spain General Hospital, where he received 3 stitches for the injury. The DVR was later found in a bag by the front door. Police are investigating the crime. 3 suspects wanted in connection with several reports of demanding money by menace were arrested by officers of the North Central Division during an operation conducted on Wednesday. The intelligence-led operation also included officers of the Cybercrime Unit and the Central Division's Gang Unit. Following weeks of investigations and surveillance, 3 suspects, a 39-year-old of Santa Cruz, a 33-year-old of St. Joseph, and a 26-year-old of Valsaid, were held following investigations into several reports of demanding money by menace spanning several months and over a dozen victims. It is alleged over $200,000 in cash had already been paid to the offenders by the victims. Victims of this type of crime are being urged to make a report to their district police station for an investigation to be launched. A woman tragically lost her life yesterday after she was crushed under the wheels of a trailer truck. The incident happened at Montrose Junction in Chaguanas. 57-year-old Elizabeth Indra Das, a manager at Lomas Das & Sons Transport, located at Thomas Road, Palmas, had just visited the nearby First Citizens Bank to do a transaction. She was attempting to cross from the southern side of the road to the northern side at 11 a.m. when the accident occurred. She was run over 20 feet east of a faded zebra crossing by a truck owned by S&M Transport of Londonville. The driver, who broke down in tears when he learned that he knew the deceased and had once worked for the company she managed, had to be consoled by Brenda John, the local government representative for the area. Deputy Chaguanas Mayor Melissa Jadunanan and Councillor John called on the Ministry of Works to ensure all zebra crossings are painted before the start of the new school season. Chaguanas police are investigating. Questions related to schools' readiness and upgrade for the new term will be raised by the opposition when Parliament resumes, according to Member of Parliament for Tabaquite, Anita Haynes-Allen. The opposition MP says safety and proper accommodation are critical factors which should be present for students to excel in their academic life. Mrs. Haynes-Allen confirmed she will be seeking to get answers on matters relating to infrastructure and repair work done on schools during the July-August holiday in Parliament when it resumes.
In the time that students are on vacation to optimize their learning spaces. And so on the first instance, I will be raising a question in Parliament to find out how much was spent, which schools benefited from, any upgrades to their infrastructure over the year. We see it 20 million spent, 45 million spent. And then you ask the schools if their situation has been improved.
On another matter, the MP said whether or not she is a candidate for the next general election, she will continue to be vocal on matters affecting the nation and her political party, the UNC. She says there are areas where improvements are needed in the country, and her views will be made known through the various means available for her to do so. Her remarks were made during an interview on the Hard Talk program yesterday.
Now, as it stands, whether or not I am a candidate in the next general election does not minimize or amplify my voice, in my opinion, because I have a platform and I will use my platform to the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago, which was the only reason I got involved in national politics anyway. No other reason than to create the type of Trinidad and Tobago that I hope to see for the future generation.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. While debate over the impending replacement of the 3 ships of Christopher Columbus from TNT's coat of arms continues, designer draftswoman Gillian Bishop says she was surprised at being chosen by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to design TNT's new coat of arms. Bishop also said she was humbled to be given the opportunity. Bishop is also prepared for the potential backlash that could come her way as the issue of the new coat of arms continues to be a polarizing topic, especially on social media. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago partly cloudy, but becoming cloudy at times with infrequent periods of light to moderate showers over most areas. There's a medium to high chance some showers will become heavy and or thundery. Nighttime mostly cloudy with periods of showers and or rain, and a low to medium chance of the isolated thunderstorm. You can expect a temperature high of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently it's 25 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 28 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. More gang violence in Port of Spain as 3 men are shot behind the Port of Spain General Hospital. Another terrifying home invasion as the owners of Me Asia Chinese restaurant are robbed, beaten, and stabbed. A woman is crushed to death in Chaguanas. Opposition MP Anita Haynes-Allen plans to raise questions on schools' readiness for the new term when Parliament resumes, and local designer humbled by coat of arms task. I'm Avril Sindhil-Bath. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. There is more news coming up in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again. Come at 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. Let's see what's happening on the highways and the byways. It is the last day for the school vacation, so you know what's going to happen next week. It's already busy. Leaving San Fernando, you got some volume as you head towards Claxton Bay, Couva, towards Chicagonas and Montrose Main Road is heavy. Traffic again, oddly enough, from O'Meara to Maloney. Going to Santa Rosa, you've got some traffic. Hardly any traffic from Trin City, would you believe? And again, so pretty much from there to Port of Spain, you're pretty much clear. Eastern Main Road, going to Aruca by Arima Old Road, heading towards McCoy, you've got some traffic there. All right. Let's see if we have any more votes for our morning poll. We do indeed. You have Josie Richardson saying no. Keith Clark, no. Anthony Pinto, good morning to you. And he says no. Let's see. Okay, that's it. That's all I have.
All
right, so our poll this morning is enough focus being placed by the TTPS on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll. So in the allotted time, we had 40 people voting on the poll, and of the 40 people, 0% said yes. Everybody said no. It's one of those few polls where it's unanimous. So the unanimous thinking is that not enough focus is being placed by the TTPS on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago. So TTPS, if you're listening, and Ministry of National Security, the people have spoken via the microcosm indication from the Power Breakfast Show, which is very powerful, that says that people do not believe that enough focus is being placed on the issue of home invasions in Trinidad and Tobago. So do better.
Read Black convenient memory.
Paul, don't answer me. Don't answer this, right? But was it you who posted about that word that Richard used just now to describe the total of the poll? It was unanimous in terms of everybody said no. Was it you posted about that word one time?
No.
Okay, it wasn't you. Anyway, let me say happy birthday to Fuad Abubakar and of Declan Lilu. Declan works at TTT.
I know Declan.
Happy birthday,
very
well. Declan. Also Astrid Samuel Williams, Joan Duncan, and Marilyn Campo, all celebrating birthdays. They always have a birthday the day before a public holiday. Isn't that nice? That must be nice.
Read Ambrose Blas convenient memory.
I saw that and I ignored it.
You understand?
There's some of them who ignore it.
Excuses after excuses, they like to support them.
Yeah.
But they don't remember when it was revised and got unanimous support.
Yeah.
Ambrose
Blah and I fell out also over
Ambrose Blah and them.
Comments on this.
I hate them. I wouldn't use the word. The word is, to me, disparate.
There are some people I think they are agent provocateurs.
No, it's not that. It's that they could only see through certain color goggles.
Anyway,
nobody can be more PNM than me, you know. Trust me, nobody can be more PNM.
And it goes to the statement somebody made against you that you have to be a blind follower, otherwise something wrong with you.
Yeah, they're mad. Not me.
Anyway, happy birthday to all the people you mentioned. And I just wanted to say that you can continue to vote on the poll throughout the day and through all programming, and we'll give you the final results on Monday morning. The day when traffic returns in full force.
I don't think traffic ever stopped, no? I see people complaining about that east-west, not that east-west, that north-south traffic.
Yeah, but they're the third lane, yeah.
Yeah, oh gosh.
It's a trial.
I'm glad I don't have to go through that, no?
Yeah, it's a trial. It is a trial. But yeah, so that's our poll this morning. So people have spoken. And we'll see how the state responds, because they do monitor this breakfast show, don't they, Paul and Wendell?
Who more PNM than me, Finbar? Nobody can be more PNM than me. Trust me, the worst PNM government will still be better than any one of them other governments for me. You understand? But my God, I'm not going to sit here in the morning and not critique my government or my party or my MPs or whatever. I had to be mad. Listen, September 29th, in exactly a month's time, I'll be here on this program 19 years consecutively. Never took a break. 19 years. I met Richard here, and Richard was experienced all then. I met him on this show. And if not for Richard, I probably would have been off this show a long time ago.
Ambrose, groundwater
19 years, you know. I didn't think that the last 9 days, I hear 19 years. And it's so, and thank God for COVID in a kind of way. So where we could do it virtually now.
Yeah.
I could be any part of the world and get to do what I do, what I like doing best. Well, not best actually. But sometimes I'll be doing it in between, you know. All it doesn't know.
So it's Friday morning. So the weekend has begun, people, and of course it is a holiday weekend, except that the holiday doesn't really matter because it's on a Saturday. And well, it doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter to many people who don't work on the weekend. Of course, to those who do work on the weekend, it might be a holiday, even though so many places open on holidays now. So that holidays don't matter, they go out the window.
But tomorrow, every bar is open, you know. Trust me.
So many places are open on a holiday now.
You ever see Tongue after the parade with them bars on them and all them places? Oh, and tomorrow is Pan on the Avenue. So you know what's going on the Avenue tomorrow? It will have people like rain, because you know how Pan events normally attract a large crowd. Well, imagine that on the public holiday, on a Saturday, where the only thing you need to be worried about Sunday morning is getting up for church.
I thought I was getting up to cook Sunday lunch.
People still do that?
I guess church trumps that.
Well, they do it before they do that before they go to church. Sometimes
Not everyone has delivery service like you know, window.
I need a cook. And anybody interested? I need a cook in Arima area. Somebody who could real cook curry and who could real cook pilau. Though they see them 2 meals, I could eat that every other day. And you had to make the roti like hot chop roti. Let me just tell you one time.
You're telling hot chop open my branch in Mandalay then?
I would love hot chop to open my branch up here.
Hot chop is one business that never expanded. You're just like with good Mukrab Road and you're harassing my head now.
No, they had
a branch in Marval at a point.
Yes, you're right. You're right. They did have a branch in Marval Road.
Yeah, and then I think COVID might have closed that down.
Yeah, you're right. I now remember that.
Yeah, but it's still the best roti for me. A mini beef with chana. Oh,
You never had a Juman roti. You never had a Juman roti. Of course, our guest this morning has deferred till Monday. So he is confirmed for Monday morning. And that is Mr. Derek Chin. So we will
I saw an article in today's papers where the movie tongue, the TCDC paid $3 million into the court, into a bank account. They paid it 2 days ago, Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's
We'll
good.
discuss all that on Monday.
It was supposed to be paid by the 28th. So I think they met the deadline.
Yeah, which was on Wednesday. Yeah.
Now the phone lines are open. You have to call now.
Right. So I just had a little convo with him out of studio.
All right.
So
Well, just in case you didn't know, Lot of Madness is on next week, Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall.
It on today too, and tomorrow.
And the box office at Queen's Hall opens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Tickets are also available at all the usual outlets. So you can get your tickets at all of the outlets. And of course, one of the main outlets is K Squared Fashions at West Mall, Eastgate, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. You can get your tickets there, as well as Jabili Rawi in Chingapuna, Electronics in Arima, and Tony's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza. Here now, Valpark Shopping Plaza is going through a major upgrade.
tell me about it.
Upgrade.
What?
Major upgrade.
Major, which it needed for years.
You clearly have some investors because they're doing a great job of upgrading they did the food court and now they're doing the facade and all the restaurants. They have a lot of bars and stuff pumping in the night now.
I think there's a new nightclub there too, and
True.
Yeah, they have a new one upstairs too.
Yeah.
Upstairs it looks like they have several bars and stuff.
Yeah, they have a few restaurants from Thai to Indian. They have a wicked pizza place. That's upstairs Mario's side.
Yeah.
Which
they
was
just have to
which had
find a way
nothing
to
up there.
provide more parking.
Parking,
Yeah.
parking,
That's
is
all.
Parking is a problem there.
and
All
it's even
right.
more of an issue because they're closing off certain areas because they're doing the work.
Yes.
It's even more of an issue. You have to park on the road at points.
Yeah. All right. So let's grab a couple of calls and good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Captain Rod.
Morning, Captain.
Yeah, gentlemen, it's really heartening to hear every morning about this home invasion. And I'm calling upon the government. If I'm the only person doing it, you got to take a different angle. You got to declare war on these people from this day forward. They need to put a curfew on a war, first of all. They need to bring out the soldiers. They need also outside help, like other countries who had some similar problem. something has to be done. Whatever they're doing now, it's definitely not working.
Yeah.
The bandits.
So what you're saying is we should bring out everything to help curb this crime.
Everything, declare war, because they have declared war on the law-abiding citizens. They have done it, and Stevie Wonder could see it. You don't have to go to college to figure it out. You understand?
Yeah.
So the thing is, the government, please, whoever's in government, whoever's in charge, it's time to get serious and put your foot down. Put a curfew out. Who vex? Nobody. You have to fight this thing. This is serious.
Yeah.
This is serious.
There's no time for crime.
That's
crime
right.
happens any hour of the day. All right. Thanks, Captain Ron. All the best to you. All right. Good morning.
Your home. Booby trap inside your home.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning to the breakfast crew.
Anthony Tinto, good morning.
Morning, Tinto.
Yeah, good morning. And,
one home you can't invade is Tinto up in Toronto today.
Say what?
I said one home you can't invade is Tinto home up in Toronto.
Tell them. Anyway, I'd like to say happy independence to Trinidad and Tobago. And I don't know if you guys are aware that in Brazil, there is over 1 million cases of dengue fever. Are you aware of that?
Yes, dengue has been troubling in
know,
the United States. I don't know if you all saw the video the other day in the United States with all the parks and so on.
Yeah, I think they had to close down 3 parts of Brazil under a state of emergency because of dengue.
Yeah. Right. And even in the US, some communities have actually decided to do self-imposed curfews. Where the parks and so on, you don't go when it starts to get dark, and that's when mosquitoes really come out. All right.
Well, is this a new thing or what?
I don't know, man.
Well, they said there's a surge this year that's a little unusual, and I don't know if it's connected to climate change, but it is a surge.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then. Have a great weekend, gentlemen, as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. All the best here. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, morning.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Morning.
Wendell, Paul, I just heard you making light of a situation there that I don't know if you all spoke about it from the other context already, but I would like to touch on it. That video you spoke about where the man and the woman were caught in a compromising position. And what I assume is a police officer who found them because somebody would not respond that way to a normal person walking up to them and respond that way. But a police officer taking a video, I would assume it is phone.
It's not a body cam for sure, eh?
It's not a body cam for sure. Of you in such a compromising position.
And then post it.
And then put it on social media.
Yeah, that's not the first time that happened, Lincoln.
It is not the first time it happened. It happened with some doubles people in St. James. It happened on the foreshore with a young lady. It happened several times. But I'm not seeing any repercussion. I'm not hearing about any repercussions or about any senior police officer condemning these actions. I've never heard any senior person condemning these actions or letting these subordinates know that this is not acceptable. I've never heard that statement.
Me too.
Well, to be fair, I read an article this morning, which was from a senior police officer who was saying that despite the work of thousands of good officers who follow the rules, a few bad apples continue to bring down the reputation of the service. So that may be a reference to that and other things.
That service don't have just a few bad apples again. 20 years ago, they had a few bad apples.
All right. Can't hear two people.
They're not criticizing the direct actions that when it happens, they're not condemning it. Right? And to your caller yesterday who called and I don't know if that was a indentation that look, police wearing body cams, that he saw a police wearing body cam. The police on the street is not the ones that we're concerned about, you know. The police are doing the raids and the exercises that people are getting killed. Right? Yep. The GB and the other teams that go to execute warrants that know they're going to face somebody who may be armed and dangerous, that choosing not to wear the body cam. The police and the bike police, when the body cams first came out, that is who they said they were giving it to, by police. I have seen dozens of police with body cam. Carnival, you see them plain clothes with body cam on. A police braced me and give me a ticket on Rice Road, on Independence Square with a body cam on. Them is not even police I care about with body cam. I don't want to see what traffic stop you make. I want to see when you're running the man house and they say you take the man woman out of the room, and all of a sudden you give the man chance to pull a gun from under the mattress. Right? Them is the altercation that I want to see on body cam. Right?
All right. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you
Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Lincoln.
Because tomorrow we celebrate our 62nd independence. Happy Independence, Trinidad and Tobago. We are taking your calls, 222-8255, toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099.
It was remiss of me not to mention that theaters also on this weekend. There's one show only at Queen's Hall this weekend, and it's called The Warlord, Lord Blakey in Brooklyn. It's by Dewad Phillip. So it's Sunday with The Warlord, Lord Blakey in Brooklyn. It's by Domino Productions, and of course it features Penelope Spencer, Curtis Gross as Lord Blakey, and Curtis is excellent. Penelope Spencer as Queenie, who of course was Blakey's partner and wife. And of course, we no need to tell you Penelope Spencer's credentials.
For sure.
And the musical director is Marvel Newton, and it's directed by Dr. Travis Weeks. I mean, I think it has been held before and it has gotten excellent reviews, but it's only one show on Sunday at Queen's Hall. That's Sunday, the 1st of September at 7 p.m. It's really a show you should take in. It's a really good show. Well, Dewad doesn't disappoint. It's called, and he wrote it, Warlord, Lord Blakey in Brooklyn. It's on Sunday at Queen's Hall, so you can get tickets at the Queen's Hall box office, which of course, as I said before, opens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. So support theater. Theater is on this weekend. Warlord, Lord Blakey in Brooklyn at the Queen's Hall, 7 p.m. on Sunday. Don't miss it.
Nice.
I think Marshall is performing at the Apollo on Sunday as well. I saw a video of him visiting Calypso Rose.
Yes.
Good morning, caller.
That went viral yesterday.
Hey, morning. Yeah, what is interesting, Wendell, is the Prime Minister had 2 terms, 9 years, 10 years, almost, and that is a interesting and shifting cultural thing. And what you was talking about as a businessman, you're getting all kind of simmy-dimmy things from people. Miss Sampson is talk about the vending all the time. Steve, you talk about the culture of driving, never change. We have never shifting culture from a thing. People say 5, maybe some people say 6 to 10 years is the thing that you need to shift a culture in a country, or behavior, a set of rules and regulations, the broken window theory kind of thing, the social psychological thing of a community and how the nation, and how you shift that. And most people can't do it because the 5 years is implement the politics, right? 5 years to shift your policies and push your policies. Then in another, you get a second term. Some people don't get a second term. The second term you implement, and he might be one of the luckier ones to get a third term. And what is interesting, I was talking to an urban planner person, and they mentioned that they were deregulating natural forests to allow squatting to happen. And that's a planning thing, the vending, how you plan for your vendor, the Eddie Hart grounds where we fight up with them, how you shift people to behavior, the madness thing. And local government that you mentioned, I find is important. But we have not been able to shift the behavior or the concept of how people, this idea, just do whatever you want is still very ingrained in us. The driving.
And Dean, it has a lot to do with who you put at the helm of these smaller organizations in terms of the local government fraternity.
Thank you.
It has a lot to do with that. And
Good morning.
You have to be.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Dr. Paul. Good morning, Richard and Wendell.
Morning.
Morning, Ms. Val.
Having a good day so far.
Very good.
So, you and I now went up to Terima. Like I left home 7 o'clock, and I'm back home already. So, good thing for back roads. So, I know Monday that, anyway, I don't have to use that word again come after today. So, I heard, we call him Captain Ron. There's something about you have to have an honor and all-out assault on these criminals. I have been seeing that for so long. What it is, people won't get vexed with the police. Just get the job done. I find it just pussyfooting with these criminals. Take drastic action. Because that's all they might understand. We going about these things, well, not we, but the police, I find, going about these things in a too much of a slow-paced manner. And the criminals say, well, okay, all the too slow on the draw, we get bolder and bolder and bolder. Because you see these home invasions, every time I go to bed at night, I check back my doors and say, I wonder where they could pass, boy. How they could open this door. I thinking all kind of things first. So, people going to bed kind of uncomfortable. Even though when a prayer and thing is supposed to be at peace, it doesn't be like that all the time. So I think it's time the police start to kind of take more drastic action. Just get more, besides being visible, just get, I want to say a word I want to say, but just get with it, just rough them up. Just, everybody had to pass me rush and we had to be inconvenient, but I don't mind being inconvenient if that will help the problem. So that's my take for this morning. So you all have a wonderful, happy independence anyway. Happy 62 years of independence. You all have a nice weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Ms. Val. Paul and Richard and Steve, remember the other day, the police decided in a measure of pushback to have an all-out exercise where they're stopping and searching and whatnot, right? Remember, a lot of people had a problem with it, right? Because people felt inconvenience. But we on this show, even though we talked about the inconvenience, we said it is something that was needed. They've not done it again. They've not done it again. So it's almost like if the other day they had some issues up around the bridge. They had a set a roadblock right around the bridge. And that's it. One day and it's done. It's tiring. It's just so tiring. You're just doing things to appease people one day, and after that, nothing. There used to be a police vehicle parked on Pashley Street on the PBR every single day, and I know how that helped curb the situation in that area. I haven't seen that vehicle in months.
All right. 222-8255, toll free, North Americans, 866-525-1099. I'm going to take a couple of your calls.
I'm reading and seeing a lot of talk about the situation in Maruga, the killing in Maruga of the man and the guy who owned the shop and his 5-year-old.
And the baby.
You want to tell me they don't know who did that? In a small area like that?
A small community like that. I wonder the same thing in Wendell. It's a small community. Everybody would know everybody around there. Good morning.
Good morning. I want to address Captain Ron's statements. Coming from a national security background, Captain Ron seems to be misguided, right? When you bring out the army outside the state of an emergency, the army could only move with the police. And if the police are unwilling to go to certain areas and challenge certain people, there's nothing the army could do, right? I remember my young soldier in Tobago, now going to Tobago to work, and I was curious to what up this area is. It was Bethel. I know how to know it to be Bethel. I asked the police officer, let me go up there. And the police officer, who was also a young police, told me, we don't go up in that area. I said, what area is that? He didn't tell me they're up there. I said, listen to me, Mr. Gentleman, we're the regiment. It has nowhere in this country that we don't go. And we eventually not end up going because guess what? They were in charge. We there to support them, and if the police say they're not going, we're not going. So outside the scope of a state of emergency, bringing out the army is just bringing out puppets to John Public to feel that the army out there and something different is going to happen. Nothing different is going to happen when the army is out there.
So Lincoln, you started off by saying Captain Ron is misguided. So let's guide him. You are saying that with the presence of the army, that won't make a difference? You are saying that the visible presence of the army and so on won't make a difference? Is that what you're saying?
I am saying if you have 2 police on a patrol and you add 2 soldiers with them, it's just the same 1 patrol going out. Unless you are bringing out more police, that more soldiers are with them, it's the same amount of patrols going out. There's nothing more happening when the soldiers are out there. All the soldiers are doing is supporting the same amount of police and the same amount of patrols you have out there. It's BS baffle brains, right? What happens is sometimes the police would find more manpower, and that is how you see more soldiers on the street because they find the more manpower. But according to what Paul says, it is not sustainable, right? You could do it for 3 months for Christmas. Maybe
well, the army working with police has always been support system because
defense for Christmas and for Carnival is not sustainable right through the year.
Army people cannot
hold on,
in charge, as far as I know. You know, so it is a supportive initiative. And I agree with that people, in many instances, have more respect for and follow instructions more from people in the green camouflage than the gray and blue. Not so? So it's more supportive in those situations. It's not meant to, because we're not a military state. So putting army out by themselves and giving them those powers will turn us closer into be a military state. And I don't think that's the answer either.
Yeah. But Lincoln, Captain Ron is also on your line. Captain Ron, I think is Captain Ron.
Yeah.
Right, it is.
It's me. One more thing I would...
Hold on, let Captain Ron jump in here. Let Captain Ron jump in here first. Go ahead, Captain Ron.
Go ahead.
Lincoln, I don't know if you're for country or just trying to get in the radio and talk. I want you to tell the people who are victims right now that we mustn't try anything. We must just sit back and just let the bandits rule and reign as they want. We need to try every single angle. That's what I'm saying. Please listen. When it's hard to sit down here and hear how these people are taking advantage of law-abiding citizens, hard-working citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who wake up every day, go to sleep every day. I heard that lady call, and she's saying that she makes on check every window and every door. Now, look at that. Look how vulnerable she is. There are people I saw in Yan Allen who have electrical fence, and these guys still jumped over. So they can choose anybody at free will. And you could come on the radio and say this kind of propagated nonsense, and you have bandits listening to the station right now. So you're encouraging them. You're saying that you don't care about the public of Trinidad and Tobago, the law-abiding citizens. Let's try every single thing at our hands. This is what I'm saying. We need to stop and take control of this situation. People are dying. What else do I have to say for you to understand that? Stop trying to sound like you have sense and not saying anything. Come on, man. Be real.
Captain Ron, what I am saying to you, Captain, and I have advocated here, that I support giving individuals weapons to defend themselves. But the law hands are tied in the present structure and with the present laws that we have. The lady just said, let us be inconvenienced and let us. She don't mind being stopped and searched. And there are certain things that we cannot do because of the laws that we have in Trinidad. We are not this country that the president lock up all the gangs and whatnot, and he solved his crime problem by doing that. I forget the name of the country. Not Suriname.
Philippines.
Pardon me?
It's a Central American country.
No.
Yeah, he locked
El Salvador.
El Salvador. El Salvador, we are not that. We don't have those kind of laws in Trinidad where you can just go and lock up the gangs and solve your gang problem in 3 months, right? At the same time, certain people have certain rights, and Captain Ron also suggested bringing foreigners. That is something we did already. I don't know if you all remember. Foreigners came here to do an investigation and pack up their stuff and run and say Trinidad and Tobago police too corrupt. I don't know if I really remember that.
Yes.
Their life at risk. Their life are at risk, and Trinidad and Tobago police is too corrupt and pack up the thing and went back to England. We tried that in Trinidad and Tobago already. So me not making it up, Wendell. You remember that?
Yes, but what you're not understanding is that from what is stopping us from trying it again?
If you find the agencies with the testicular fortitude to come and try it again, fine. I have no problem with that. But it's something we tried already, right? But my solution: give the people and them the tools that they need to protect themselves.
Well,
we need tools to protect the police. And that question you asked this morning is a loaded question. Is there focus being placed on the TTPS on the issue of home protection? Can the TTPS predict whose house the bandits are going to run into to protect them? It's a loaded question.
It is.
You understand?
All right, Captain.
They don't have foresight.
Lincoln. Thank you, Lincoln. We have lots of calls coming through. And I want to call Penny. Richie make me want to call Penny. Good morning. Okay.
I will continue to make the unpopular statement, booby trap.
Right. Good morning.
Inside your house. I bet you the day when police come
morning.
and pick up them with 200 volts going through their body on the ground. I bet you the word will spread.
Good morning, sir.
So, yes, morning. I listen to the emotions of a lot of the callers. I understand it pretty well based on what is transpiring now with relevant crime situation. But however, I'm thinking logically, if it is that you empower a lot of persons by giving them a few wills, right? Do we honestly believe that you will have a positive change in the level of crime? Or you're going to escalate the problem even more? Because we have to be honest that one of the problems in terms of the detection of crime itself and solving these incidents and accidents is that the homicide department and the relevant investigating officers, there's a possibility that they could be understaffed, right? Because it's not just, there's a lot of things that goes into investigating these matters. It's not a case that you're going to solve it in just a matter of a day and you're going to move on to the next one, right? There's that aspect of case management and a lot of things involved. But we also have to undertake the discussion, to be honest, about addressing these persons who are committing the crime. If they are persons with exorbitant amount of matters before the court and they are getting bail on a regular basis, and why it is that we're not addressing that issue, right? And if it is that officers are not attending court, or if it is that improving upon the detection system, or whether it is looking at the judiciary and managing that aspect, that is where the discussion has to be. Not about empowering persons, because by empowering persons now, that individual, the criminal, will always have the upper hand because he is coming on the case of elements of the price. You're not there for a bandit, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the mind frame of him. He coming to kill.
Yeah.
It's you of him. Are you going? Do you have that steel mentality to commit that drastic act?
But caller, stick up in.
Yeah.
Stick up in there, right? Because I've been on both sides of that same fence, right? And because I was a victim of a robbery, a gun-related robbery, where I actually saw the guy coming at me. draw his gun and pointed it at my head. Now, if I didn't have a gun, so I couldn't respond, right? But if I had a gun, trust me, that guy would have been the one shot, right? Because I saw him, but I couldn't do anything. So, and I'm saying, so I understand the argument about giving people that chance, because maybe he knew that I didn't have a gun. You understand? At the point in time. But if he knew that I had, maybe he may not have come at me the way he did. So it's I look at it from both sides. I don't know what is the real answer, but I honestly believe more guns will have more killings. But
I to be quite honest, I am of the opinion that it needs to improve the system rather than empower everyone to have guns. We have many incidents of persons with domestic issues, even though they go through the psychiatric evaluation. Over time, persons' human fallibility, right? That individuals commit to end up with more problems than you actually anticipate. And that is my opinion on it. All right? Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, man. Take care.
I mean, you have the whole issue of how we deal with crime and how intelligence-led it is. Because let's look at the home invasions, for example. The home invasions are organized to a certain degree. I don't know if it involves military personnel, meaning police or army guys in it. It seems to me as if there is some coordination of a certain level because of the amount that are happening and the numbers that are going into those houses. It takes planning.
Yes.
Because if you're entering houses with electrified fences and stuff, it means a certain amount of planning is taking place in terms of how those home invasions take place.
Of course.
From the time you have so many involved in a home invasion, it means that if the police have enough undercover people in certain situations, people will talk. Caribbean people can't help but open their mouth and talk. So somebody is going to be a weak link in that group.
Yes.
And that's where you have to that's where you're going to have to make the inroads. It has to be intelligence driven, and it has to be police officers. I can't tell them how to do their job, but I assume they have undercover agents in all manner of places that have to make inroads into becoming affiliated with those gangs, affiliated with the organization of those home invasions to make a break in the case. Because it's a certain group, there are certain groups, maybe it's probably the same group or the same 4 groups or 5 groups that are doing these home invasions. And that's how you dismantle them. I'm sure that there are other countries that have had these situations before, but they would come up with a plan of how you dismantle it.
Yes.
You can't just throw up your hands in the air. And I'm not saying the TTPS is throwing up their hands in the air and saying, we can't do nothing about it. But there has to be a way. Once human beings involved, there is always a way to get intel.
That is true. Which is why I raised the issue of that killing in Moruga. You want to tell me, and I've seen all the images so far. You know, social media like to search out images of people, right? The only image I've seen of that guy so far is with him and his daughter. I've not seen an image of him draped in gold chains or holding some Glock or something. I've not seen an image like that of him, right? So I'm assuming there are none. You want to tell me in a little village like Moruga, where a man is running a corner shop, he and his daughter, and both of them are killed. The daughter collected what? More than 20-something bullets? You want to tell me nobody don't know who that is? No, man.
It may not be somebody who's from the area. One of the
Oh, what caused it then?
From some of the reports, he had been the subject of extortion attempts, and people were telling him, asking him for money, for protection money, as they say, which is a big issue in the country. I think one of the things that the TTPS needs to do more, and they have the laws on their side in many cases, is the phone taps, the issue of getting the CCTV footage from the families that have cameras when the invasions take place, which is quite prevalent. they made quick progress with the restart of the kidnapping issue, thank God. But they have to put a lot more focus on the home invasions and becoming more and more frequent. Remember, there was a time when it was said to be confined to El Socorro certain areas.
Yes.
Well, and this is about a year ago. Well, now
Aranguez.
They're back in full force across the country now, and it seems that they're targeting business people more than ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I know.
All right. Now you
Now I
know.
know.
Richie Rich, I have your friend online.
Ooh.
Who's
I'm
that?
scared there for a second.
Yeah, I had a freak out a little bit when I called her. I put a good question about it. Yes.
Penny is freaked out? I doubt.
I want to know what's going on.
Penny, did you not freak out?
In a positive way. When the U.S. Embassy call you, you get freaked out in a positive way.
Oh, I played a prank. Morning, Penny.
Morning, Penny.
How you doing, sweetheart?
Morning, guys. I am blessed. What is
We're calling you to talk about this wonderful thing about with Blakey that's taking place on Sunday.
Oh my
Queen Soul.
You know, Richard, it is such a wonderful experience seeing this performance, this play, this understanding Blakey and his journey. And because this is just one aspect of Blakey's life. But doing this play and hearing his stories and how he met James Brown and how James Brown respected him and James Brown knew him and how he went through the airport and he was, I didn't want to give away what's going on, but it is a wonderful story, a wonderful experience, really. And I'm not saying this because I'm in it,
Penny, where do you fit in? Penny, where do you fit in?
I love that
question.
Yes.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Where do you fit in? Where do you fit in with that calypso that made Blakey so popular when he's saying holy pussy, holy pussy, holy pussy? Where do you fit in? Where does that fit in the play on Sunday? Because if there's anything that will bring me to that play on Sunday, is that?
Yes. You will remember that song.
You will.
Of all the songs, Blakey sang.
That's the one that's
will bring you. It's there. It's there. It's there to play that song. It's a wonderful song. When we have done it before, and people, when that song comes on, the whole audience will be singing it. It is a fabulousness. It's a very kind of interactive thing because it talks directly to the audience, and it's like a calypso tent, and the story kind of feel like in a calypso tent, and we are the storytellers. But my character, Queenie, came about as the catalyst in Blakey's life transition of the man who was felt that he was nothing, he was, depressed, he was frustrated, sitting down in Trinidad doing nothing. And then there was an awakening of calypso in New York and Brooklyn in 1997, 1995 there. And this woman, Queenie, well, actually this calypso tent in New York wanted Blakey to come on their in their tent, and they got Queenie, this woman who is a real woman called Paula Atherley, who runs Atherley's by the Sea, the wonderful restaurant. Yes, so he got her to come to Blakey and get a visa because he had no visa. He had gone through trouble to get as he say, a visa, and he didn't. And this woman come into his life and took him to New York, brought him to New York. She didn't go with him, but on his journey in New York, and they would be pelting him, and he thought it was toilet paper, the pelting, and when he looked, the audience was throwing money at him in Brooklyn because they loved Blakey. It's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful story with dance and music and everything.
Nice,
and it's Queen's Hall this Sunday, correct?
This Sunday. One show only, one show. It is we have before the show, there's a market where you see vendors. We have some vendors selling their stuff, all the unique stuff that goes. Kimo, who is our creative costumer, is there. She brought in some friends and they have a booth. They could come early, come like 5, 6 o'clock and do a little shopping and, see the play. And it's not a long play that they're going to be there forever at all, because this is just a snippet of the man life, so it's really engaging. It is really engaging. Yeah, and young and old could benefit from this play, and actors, because Curtis Gross is a boss, working with Curtis Gross and people from that UE place that they have theater, because we do theater.
Yeah.
And just working with Curtis is
There's a pong.
not really,
There's a pong.
Not really.
All right.
Not really. I'm not funny.
Before we go, Penny, when is American Dance going to make its presence on a theater stage?
As soon as heaven open a door, we are coming out.
Penny, are you saying Richard is reposed in heaven next to God and the right hand of the Father?
Not me and you and Richard, I don't get it. I am out of it.
Richard is a strong believer.
Penny, I just got that image of you dancing on your head there. I don't know why that sticks with me.
Because between that and Holy Pussycat, I don't know, you need some kind of washing.
Or something, Penny, something.
Now that I know Penny's typecast to bring the Pussycat song to life, I shall attend. Because
oh, jeez.
Penny's acting skills are renowned. So if one person
beyond the Pussycat and that kind of business.
They're both.
I'm not dancing on my head alone. I'm singing in this production as well.
I find it very tight. Penny, happy Independence, Penny.
Thank you.
All the best to you. Thank you so much. And all the best on Sunday as well.
I know I'll see you on
Sunday with the Warlord, Lord Blakey, 7 p.m. Queen's Hall, $250. And if you have your top card, you can get $50 off.
All right. Gentlemen, before we go for this independence, I just want to share, I want to leave with some good news. And it goes out to the 22 employees of the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, TNTEC, that are back home after spending a month in Carriacou, Grenada, where they helped to restore the power and electricity infrastructure on the island after Hurricane Beryl.
Excellent.
So kudos to you all.
Yeah, man.
Kudos. We always hear the bad news. We always hear TNTEC. And so good going, TNTEC and you 22 that went across to help the needy folks of Grenada.
Happy Independence, Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, every creed and race finds an equal place. And together we aspire, together we achieve. Happy Independence.
I'm sure you'll be dressed and at the parade tomorrow. So, folks, have a beautiful holiday. I know I will. I didn't get invited to Pan on the Avenue, but I'm going still. I mean, an official invitation, sorry. But I'll be there on the Avenue tomorrow, enjoying the musical instrument that was created solely and wholly by Trinidad and Tobago. Will soon find its way.
I thought you were going to say Tassa.
Yeah. Steel Pan in all its glory tomorrow. All right. Just remember, there's a parade and there's an order of the parade. So find yourselves out on the Avenue early tomorrow, and I guess.
And remember, there are traffic restrictions.
Still have the fireworks display.
There are traffic restrictions in Port of Spain tomorrow, so be careful.
Yes, be mindful of that.
Yeah, they are setting up on the Savannah for fireworks today. So.
I thought they would have done the latest thing now is the drones.
Yeah. Right by the zoo, they're going to send out fireworks.
But they said no drone fireworks. They said no drone fireworks.
We ain't reached there yet, Richard.
We ain't reached drones yet? Other Caribbean islands have it, eh?
Yes.
Anyway,
Grenada.
Yeah. Anyway, happy Independence. Enjoy the holiday tomorrow. Whatever you do, of course, support theater on the weekend on Sunday at Queen's Hall. And of course, next week, Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall. Same place. You have a lot of madness on. Tickets available at the Central Bank, at the Queen's Hall box office. Queen's Hall from 10 a.m. to 12 noon daily. And of course, all the usual outlets, which I've already identified several times during this show. And you can also check RSRR Productions Theater on social media for more information on tickets and where you can get them and how you can purchase them online. So have a fantastic weekend, people, whatever you do, and happy Independence, Trinidad and Tobago. Celebrate it tomorrow, whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
Folks, remember to let go and let God. Don't ever forget that.
All right, and happy Independence Day, Trinidad and Tobago, 62nd. All right. Of course, the Pet Butler will be closed tomorrow as well. Let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. The lovely Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update at 8 o'clock. I'm Afril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. More gang violence in Port of Spain as 3 men were shot whilst repairing a car in Belmont yesterday afternoon during what police believe was the ongoing gang violence between warring factions in the area. The volley of gunshots could be heard behind the Port of Spain General Hospital. 1 man was pronounced dead on arrival at the Port of Spain General Hospital shortly after the shooting around 3:40 p.m., while 2 others were reportedly injured. One of the men was reported to be in critical condition. Yet another terrifying home invasion as the owners of Me Asia Chinese restaurant along Arapita Avenue, Woodbrook, were robbed, beaten, and stabbed at their home on Tuesday by 5 armed men who stormed the home and demanded cash and valuables. The 59-year-old businesswoman, as well as a 37-year-old relative, was asleep at their home in Pitti Valley when they were awakened at around 3 a.m. 2 victims found 5 masked men who were armed with a knife and a gun inside the house after they gained entry via a sliding door on the 2nd floor. During a struggle with the bandits, the man was reportedly stabbed in the right thigh, while the woman was beaten and thrown against a safe, causing injury to the left side of her face. 3 suspects wanted in connection with several reports of demanding money by menace were arrested by officers of the North Central Division during an operation conducted on Wednesday. The intelligence-led operation also included officers of the Cybercrime Unit and the Central Division's Gang Unit. Following weeks of investigations and surveillance, 3 suspects, a 39-year-old of Santa Cruz, a 33-year-old of St. Joseph, and a 26-year-old of Valsain were held following investigations into several reports of demanding money by menace spanning several months and over a dozen victims. And a woman tragically lost her life yesterday after she was crushed under the wheels of a trailer truck. The incident happened at Montrose Junction in Chaguanas. 57-year-old Elizabeth Indra Das, a manager at Lomas Das & Sons Transport, was attempting to cross from the southern side of the road to the northern side at 11 a.m. when the accident occurred. She was run over 20 feet east of a faded zebra crossing by a truck owned by S&M Transport of Londonville. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.